News Hour Special Edition.
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग. यू वाचिंग द स्पेशल एडिशन ऑफ द न्यूज आवर. आपके साथ मैं हूं स्वाति जोशी. Rahul Rafale conflict charge. That's going to be the top focus in the first half of the special edition of the news hour. लेकिन इससे पहले कि हम हमारे खास मेहमानों के पास जाएं, आपको बताएं कि पूरी खबर क्या है. इस वक्त की हेडलाइंस देख लेते हैं.
राफेल का मामला राजीव महर्षि की देख में हुआ. अब वो सीएजी हैं. इससे बड़ा तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हो नहीं सकता.
Just days after facing flak for a cut-and-paste job, Congress comes out with a fresh allegation, claims CAG can't probe the deal as he was finance secretary during Rafale negotiations. BJP has rubbished the charge. As ED turns up the heat on Robert Vadra, Times Now accesses key pieces of evidence in the case. Secret agreements and bank transactions establish global round-tripping web, claims the ED. Former Congress insider makes a sensational charge, claims Rahul Gandhi as an MP undermined Manmohan Singh and PMO and called the shots on cabinet portfolios as well as ordnance.
I'm sorry, sir. You have to stop this.
Are you asking me not to speak? You have invited me to speak.
I'm invited to speak of Badwe.
Massive outrage after the Amol Palekar video goes viral on social media. The big question being raised, is the Modi-led NDA government against dissent? Gujjar's agitation in Rajasthan takes a violent turn. Aam Aadmi hit, rail and roads hijacked, but heads of state pass the buck. One controversy a day to keep the NDA at bay. Now, what is the Rafale conflict charge? This seems to be the new mantra that the Congress party is following as elections loom nearer. Just days after the Congress faced national embarrassment after citing an allegedly photoshopped document, it has opened a fresh front against not just the government but even the Comptroller and Auditor General, the autonomous institution which audits the government's accounts. Listen in.
राजीव महर्षि जी, जो आज आपको मालूम है कि वो कंट्रोलर एंड अकाउंटेंट जनरल हैं, वो फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी 24 अक्टूबर 2014 में नियुक्त किए गए और तब तक रहे 30 अगस्त 2015 तक रहे. और इस बीच आपको मालूम है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी पेरिस 10 अप्रैल 2015 को गए थे और तभी उन्होंने 36 राफेल ऑफ द शेल्फ खरीदने का ऐलान किया था. जो 126 राफेल का जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था वो 24 जून 2015 में कैंसिल किया गया. तब भी राजीव महर्षि जी फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी थे और आपको मालूम है कि नेगोशिएशन में फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री का बड़ा रोल रहता है. तो लबोलबाब बात यह है कि राफेल का मामला राजीव महर्षि की देख में हुआ. अब वो सीएजी हैं और हम सीएजी को पीछे 2 डेलीगेशन गई थी हमारी, 2 बार हम इनको मिले थे. लेकिन सीएजी जांच कैसे करेंगे? अपने खिलाफ तो जांच कर नहीं सकते. इससे बड़ा तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हो नहीं सकता.
And after this allegation, the BJP has jumped to the CAG's defense, rubbishing all the charges of impropriety or conflict of interest.
Congress, criticism on Rafale seems to be bordering on obsessive compulsive disorder now. And they seem to be flogging a dead horse because every day they seem to be coming up with a new issue. Now it's no longer about the price. Now it's no longer about Y126 and Y36. Now it's about forging documents when it comes to the Hindu newspaper. Now it's about warning and threatening officials like Mr. Mehrishi.
And here's what the government sources are informing Times Now. The government sources are saying that Rajiv Mehrishi was in charge of the Department of Economic Affairs, which had nothing to do with the Rafale deal. The high-profile defense transaction was actually being looked after by the Expenditure Secretary in the Finance Ministry and the Secretary Defense Finance, who reports to the Defense Minister. So the portfolio that Rajiv Mehrishi was handling back then had nothing to do with the Rafale deal. This is what the government sources are saying. This is what the government sources are telling us. So let's in fact open up the debate and also go across to our guests. The question that we are asking tonight is the conflict charge. Is that probity or is it politics? Tonight we are joined by Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Karan Bhasin, Consultant, Gyan Foundation, also joins us. Ashutosh Mishra, Senior Journalist, is here with me in the studio. Dr. Garga Chatterjee, Political Analyst, is also on the panel. We also have Sunit Chopra, Senior Leader of the CPIM. Let me first go across to Syed Zafar Islam. Syed Zafar Islam, you heard what Kapil Sibal had to say. Now Kapil Sibal and the Congress Party, of course, is saying that there is conflict of interest because Mr. Mehrishi was handling the Finance Secretary charge. So clearly the Finance Ministry, which looks into such deals, he was also a part of it. So how can he probe himself and then the government? So they are saying this is conflict of interest. How do you respond?
See, Congress knows today that whatever information they have is all manufactured by them, and they have absolutely no leg to stand, and that's why they are making these kind of excuses. However, everyone knows that what the portfolio Mr. Mehrishi had and what the portfolio he has, there is absolutely no conflict of interest. It is just the Congress is trying to find an excuse because they know that all the allegation they have made is malicious, without any substance, without any basis, and they also know that the Honorable Supreme Court has gone through everything and given its verdict, and giving its verdict that everything has been followed in terms of the processes, and the process was absolutely transparent. And there is, when it comes to CAG, now their mind has something has come into their mind that there is a conflict of interest only to safeguard their own interests, and somehow they are looking for some excuse. Everyone knows that there is absolutely no conflict of interest, and his portfolio was such that there was no involvement of Mehrishi when the deal was negotiated at that point in time.
So take a response. Ashutosh Mishra, is the Congress Party only looking for opportunities to attack the government over the Rafale row?
Let's start from Supreme Court, which according to Mr. Zafar Islam has given a clean sheet. No. In the Supreme Court, the government has purposely filed a misleading affidavit. Let's be very clear about it. Supreme Court has not given any clear sheet. Now coming to CAG, CAG has suddenly from 2017 stopped uploading any document related to defense deals. Why is that being done? What is there to hide? If it was all right to upload them earlier, why is it being done now? Why have they stopped doing it? And BJP's own Mr. Subramaniam Swamy has been raising, shouting from the rooftops about corruption in the Finance Ministry, of which Mr. Mehrishi was a part. So why
everybody who's part of the Finance Ministry is corrupt?
In any case, I don't say that. That's what Mr. Subramaniam Swamy has.
That's also a charge.
Mr. Subramaniam Swamy is a BJP person. Even Shiv Sena is asking today that what is there, who is gaining from Rafale deal. So their own party members and their own allies.
No, but today we are discussing. No, but today we are discussing what the Congress Party feels is conflict of interest.
Yeah. So and when justice is being done, it should also be seen to be done. And in this case, as I said, there are charges of corruption against the Finance Ministry as a whole, and Mr. Mehrishi was a part of that. And CAG has suddenly become so secretive about defense deals, as if this was being planned. There's something new that has happened.
So my point is, let me also bring in Garga Chatterjee. Dr. Chatterjee, my point is, so does everybody who belongs to the Finance Ministry looks after every deal that the Finance Ministry is involved in? Because the government sources are claiming that the portfolio Mr. Mehrishi was handling had nothing to do with the Rafale deal, because he explained how the Defense Ministry files are dealt with the Secretary Expenditure and not the Secretary Economic Affairs.
It is quite funny that media gets so many things from government sources, this and that. It does not get pricing information. It, for example, did not get this disclosure of the Defence Secretary having had strong objections with parallel negotiations done by PMO. You never seem to get those disclosures, right? So there is a pattern in the disclosure certain kinds of media are getting. Okay.
Is it wrong to present the government's point of view?
There is no Photoshop issue here. The government is there to present the government's point of view. Media is not there to present the government's point of view.
Media is presenting the opposition's point of view also. Why don't you question us for that as well? Why don't you say we are biased because we are presenting the opposition's point of view, which is attacking the government? That's you're completely getting into. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. No. I'll tell you. Why are you answering the answer that I should be giving? So, for example, the role of media is to question power. Okay, forget that.
We are not discussing the role of media. We are discussing how this is a conflict of interest.
Please give me 30-40 seconds.
Yeah.
Please. Okay. So you must also realize that in your introduction you said something about something being photoshopped. The Photoshop part was the statement by the defense minister. The defense minister is a BJP person. Okay. What is crucial is whether handpicked bureaucrats by the BJP, how they could not even tolerate the kind of bad things that were being done. Now let's come to the real case here. Here what we see is a clear case of CAG auditing himself. You know, you have to look at the trail of where certain bureaucrats are going where. You have to follow the trail. Let me give you two other examples. The person who first made the false Godra theory ends up becoming...
Please talk in detail about this. You are saying take a look at the pattern. What is the pattern? Kindly explain in detail. You know, don't just touch upon it, create some kind of a controversy and move on.
Why don't you say...
Yes,
is there any conflict? What is the conflict?
No, please talk in detail about the conflict.
The Supreme had gone through every paper, they couldn't find anything. How can you make that kind of observation?
Because the affidavit that you had thought was misleading.
No, please, one second. Let's come back to the topic.
Find an excuse because they cannot substantiate.
Let me finish. Don't barge in.
Okay, Garga Chatterjee is finishing his point. Yeah, Garga Chatterjee is finishing his point. Go ahead.
They also know that they cannot substantiate.
No, 1 second, please. Let him finish his point. Okay. Let Garga Chatterjee finish his point. Let Garga Chatterjee finish. Yeah, quickly, Dr. Chatterjee.
Let's bear. Yes. So we have a pattern of certain kinds of people being put somewhere else. Modi's Chief Secretary under Modi has been made Chief Election Commissioner. The Godra guy has been made the CBI number 2, has also wrecked the institution. Okay, so we have a huge pattern of these people being put and transferred about for their own conflict of interest. Okay, it's a huge problem. The question we should be asking is, what experience in aeronautics does Ambani have?
All right, Dr. Garga Chatterjee, I thought you were going to throw some more light on how this is conflict of interest, and how do you think the opposition's charge stands. But you are going into other things which are completely not related to the topic that we are discussing today, and you started with bashing the media. So I don't know where you're going. Let me go across to Karan Bhasin now. Karan Bhasin, the government is saying that the portfolio has nothing to do with Rafale deal. Just because he's part of the finance ministry does not mean that he was the one involved in the Rafale deal, into the negotiations and overlooking the entire deal.
No, let me just make a quick point first, and the point is that till yesterday it was the PMO which was looking at Rafale negotiations. Suddenly they have decided that it is the finance ministry which is involved, and it is an expenditure Department of Economic Affairs secretary who is responsible for it, not the expenditure secretary. I mean, it's absurd how 800 crore offset for land suddenly becomes a 30,000 crore scam according to Rahul Gandhi. It is completely absurd that after repeated statements being made by the finance minister, by the defense minister, they keep harping that it's a scandal. The only corruption scandal that is over here is, and that
okay, can we let Karan Bhasin make his point?
Under the UPA for 10 years.
Go ahead, Mr. Bhasin.
Why didn't they purchase the aircraft then? Why are they trying to derail the purchase right now? How is it that a 800 crore offset suddenly becomes a 30,000 crore scam according to them? Rahul Gandhi is on record saying that I don't have evidence.
Because Mr. Bhasin, by not having transfer of technology,
they keep going in circles, they keep coming out with such exposés.
Rafale jets have gone up. Let us be very clear about that.
Okay, let me also bring in now Suneet Chopra. Suneet Chopra, what according to you is really happening on the Rafale issue? Is this just pure politics that the opposition is playing?
No, this is not pure politics. There is a complete lack of understanding of a conflict of interest, because anybody is put anywhere to do a job. You have the Defense Secretary complaining that the PMO is interfering in the deal at the cost of the Indian side.
And you had the Defense Minister responding to that, saying it was just an overreaction.
When we talk of conflict of interest,
Swati ji, can I just come in, please?
The minister says it's an overreaction. So there is nothing like justice. And ask this man to stop talking till I finish.
Quickly, sir, make your point.
And you can see very clearly, that the PMO is running a parallel discussion with the French, and the Defense Secretary is complaining. The minister says, please don't worry. And now you have a situation where the finance secretary is also the CAG man.
Suneet Chopra, Zafar Islam is responding to your chart.
The BJP treasurer,
you don't have absolutely no information. You have not been able to gather any information. Do not tom here something which is absolutely baseless. No, Mr. Suneet Chopra, at least learn to speak the truth. You are following the footsteps of Congress.
You are lying.
They have dislodged you in West Bengal, they have dislodged you in Kerala, yet
so Mr.
you are actually following their footsteps. Don't be a liar here. Why don't you accept the fact that
But he was not the expenditure secretary. He was not the expenditure secretary. That's what the government sources are saying. Okay, hold on to that thought. Mr. Chopra and Mr. Zafar Islam, and taking a very short break here. We'll be back on this very topic. We'll continue the debate after a break. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're discussing the Rafale conflict charge. All our guests continue to be with us. Let me go across to Dr. Garga Chatterjee. Dr. Garga Chatterjee, the BJP says that the opposition is only, trying to politically reap benefit out of the Rafale row. Don't they trust the Supreme Court? Don't they trust any other organization?
See, first of all, again, to set the context, because viewers are watching and I'm responding to viewers. Right now, the BJP spokesperson said something about the CPI or CPM being routed out of somewhere, the Tripura, West Bengal, etc. And you never said it was irrelevant to the debate. So let's actually put that on record, that where relevance and irrelevance, how they are decided. Having said that, the job of the opposition is to be the conscience keeper of the nation, okay? Because when crime is done by the government, when a company that has no experience in making a single aeroplane, not even a single paper aeroplane, is given a contract, that is also
the job of
undercutting India's
Mr. Dr. Garga. Mr. Dr. Chatterjee, let me ask you one very simple question.
It is the job of the BJP.
Is the job of the opposition?
No. I never interrupt
what is the job of the opposition?
Do not misbehave. Do not show your true face.
No, I'm asking you a simple question.
Misbehave.
Before you complete, let me ask you.
Let me finish
the job
my
of
point.
the opposition not to make a false allegation.
Let the people know this.
That's not the way.
Everybody should know how
that's not,
let everybody
way.
see
Just
how they are actually
political benefit, you
trembling. How
cannot make a false allegation.
How frightened they are. Let them see. Let people see how frightened they are, that they are interrupting everybody who are saying things. Let everybody see how frightened these people are.
Okay, all right, let's come back to the topic, please. Yeah, let's come back to the topic.
You can discharge your responsibility as a principal opposition party, as a responsible opposition party, but on the basis of certain facts.
I asked the anchor, why is this
person
not without
Zafar Islam.
document, not
Dr. Garga Chatterjee, you have just one agenda, not to answer the questions and target the media. I think your agenda is set every time you appear on debates. Let me go across to Syed Zafar Islam. If you have concrete questions, do ask those questions. Who's stopping you? Every time you come to the debate, I say you the same things. If you have concrete questions, who's stopping you? Raise the issue and ask the questions. Said Zafar Islam, if the opposition does not believe in any of these institutions, if the opposition is saying, आप JPC का probe कराइए, तो government JPC probe क्यों नहीं करा रही है? JPC probe कराने से क्या आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि कोई और नतीजा निकल आएगा? That could go against you.
I was trying to make a point. By disruption, he actually made a point.
So,
By disruption, he took away my
Okay,
chance.
I have asked your question. Sayyid Zafar Islam, you take a response now, please.
Allow me to speak.
Yeah.
No, that was not my question. He cannot complete. He cannot complete my question.
One second, Dr. Garga Chatterjee. I gave you enough time. Instead of coming to the topic, you keep on pointing out who's doing what's relevant, what's irrelevant. Please, either you speak on the topic, or let your co-panelists speak. Sayyid Zafar Islam, respond to my question.
Everybody saw that he interrupted.
Enough, sir. Enough.
Say, Dr. Chatterjee, please. Dr. Chatterjee, allow me to complete. I will not take as much time you are taking. Two simple things. First of all, the opposition has the right to question the government. Of course, they have full right to question the incumbent government, but on the basis of proof, if they need to have evidence, they cannot make this kind of frivolous charges which cannot be substantiated. And this is what Congress is doing, and this Dr. Chatterjee knows fully well that there is absolutely nothing. And why I am telling you time and again, the Supreme Court has gone through every single detail. They have gone through the process step, what has been followed by the government, and they have given a verdict, which is that the transparent process has been maintained and followed by the government of India. Secondly,
quickly, Ashutosh Mishra is responding. Ashutosh Mishra is responding quickly.
कुछ छुपाना नहीं है तो प्रूफ क्यों नहीं करा देते? Why do you file a misleading affidavit in the Supreme Court and then try to claim that affidavit you have got a clean sheet from there? कुछ किया नहीं, चोरी नहीं करी है तो प्रूफ कराइए जेपीसी का. डरते क्यों हैं? किस बात का डर है अगर चोरी नहीं करी है?
I'm completely out of time for this debate. The opposition says conflict of interest. Government says that there is no conflict of interest. The portfolio handled by Mr. Mehrishi was not at all connected to the Rafale deal, and it is just an opportunity by the opposition to only try and encash the entire Rafale row and create a controversy out of it. On that note, I'm taking a very short break. We'll be back with another debate on the other side.